Roadkill, the wreck runner hits the road. Hey, Freiburger, I need a ride.
So it's another Freiburger and Dulcich Roadkill.
I know.
Enjoying the fruits of our labor on Roadkill Garage.
You know, I've always wanted to take this car out on the road. And this time we're gonna make some miles, pal.
Do you have any idea where we're going?
Not 100% sure.
I want to go to the home of the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Monument Valley in Arizona, and going up through maybe like Moab and Arches and stuff like that as a tribute to the Roadrunner, don't you think?
Oh yeah, just like the cartoon. We could have the thing just hauling ass in the desert.
Like we're doing right now. So if you haven't caught up on this particular car yet, me and Finnegan took it out of a backyard of our friend Alana, who had another friend who had wrapped this 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner completely around a phone pole.
It was a C-body.
It was total C-body Roadrunner. And Finnegan and I got it running and driving on the street, which was hilarious. We were laughing so hard on that thing. And then we took it to a dirt track and we were doing laps in it. It was fun.
That was awesome.
But after that, Dulcich and I decided that we wanted to make it like a real car, a real muscle car. And so our buddy Birdsong came up with a 1968 satellite body. And on Roadkill Garage, we took all of the parts off of the wrecked C-body Roadrunner and put them on this car, which is now known as the Wreck Runner. We tuned it up, hopped it up. We put a Brawler carb on it. We took it to the drag strip. It ran 1350s, but it was fouling plugs really badly.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we haven't fixed that.
Oh, we got fresh plugs in it, but
Right now we do, but how long will they last?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Whoa! Oh, look at it, whoop news.
Oh, this thing has proven to be one of our better off-road cars, too.
Oh!
Woohoo! This thing basically is a 68 Roadrunner. 383, 335 horsepower, 833 Hemi 4-speed, 8 3/4 rear end, 355 gears. This thing is fun.
Yeah.
All right, Dulcich, ready to hit the highway?
Yeah, let's go, man.
That was not a Dulcich bank shift. Did you hear it bog?
Yes.
You can hear it running rattier and rattier. I'm really happy it's not overheating. Nothing can stop us now.
No way.
Cue the sad trombone music, Dulcich.
Wah, 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 wah.
Alternator failed, or something's going wrong anyway with the charging system. It was cruising along just fine at like 13.5 volts, and now it's down to like 11.5. So, you know what I'm hoping for, though?
Yeah, that it's the regulator and not the alternator, right?
Because the regulator
Is point style mechanical, and you can clean them sometimes and make them work. So we're going to test the alternator by going full field, grounding the field terminal. It should, if the alternator is good, go to full charge. Can you pull the dipstick for me, please?
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Watch this.
Oh, you didn't wipe the oil off on your shirt for me.
I didn't. Let me get you a rag. You want to wipe it off with this pair of pants right here?
Sure.
Here you go, Steve.
Man, these jeans are a little stiff.
Yuck.
Yuck is right. Okay.
That didn't work.
No, the alternator's DOA, so we're out of luck. We need an alternator.
So, good times. And we also found out that this thing burns a full quart of oil every 100 miles. So,
Yeah, other than that, it's going great.
all right, we're gonna hit the highway and drive it till the battery dies. We're running out of voltage already.
Yep.
Did you hear it miss?
Yes, low voltage on the ignition system.
Yeah. With a higher load at high RPM, it fell apart worse, yeah. The temperature came right down even though the fan's not on.
I know. That alternator is going to be super hot to change.
All right, we need to find a parts store.
We really didn't get that far. We're in Needles, California. That's pretty close to the state line. Our alternator gave up, so we got this replacement, and this one's a dual field, but as you probably know, you can just ground one of the fields and run it in this car. So that's for a 78 Dodge pickup with a 360.
Yeah, it's got a single groove like a real muscle car alternator.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
I may have discovered the problem with our alternator.
What?
I could be wrong, but I don't think this is supposed to be like that.
Wow. Yeah, the alternator test was probably pretty valid because
Yeah.
that one is a no good.
It just shredded the brushes off. They're gone.
Oh, yeah, that's insane.
That is never before seen roadkill carnage right there.
Okay, Freiberger, this is ready to put in.
Here's another problem. We burned a spark plug wire. The convenient heat shield manages to shove the wire directly into the header. That's why they call it a heat shield, because it overheats the wire. So we're gonna need a new plug wire too. How do they manufacture this and ship it to a store and sell it to me for $1.07? Don't care, it's gonna fix my problem, and the straight spark plug boot is gonna keep it from burning again. There we go. Is it good? Yeah, we're out of here. Now Steve's driving.
Man, that first gear is hard to find.
Yes,
Freiberger.
it is.
Hey, it's running a lot better, look. I'm kind of leaning into it. Maybe that spark plug wire really did the trick.
It is a lot better. All right, Steve, Arizona or bust? Which is it gonna be?
I think it's gonna be fun.
Woo! You want to cool down?
Yeah. I'm glad the alternator's charging.
Yep.
Doesn't it feel great to be an American, Freiberger?
This is freedom. Semi-truck drivers are digging our car. Fans are digging it. Chicks are digging it. And you look good, I might say.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Looks like the fan belt flew off, which is exactly when the temp gauge hit 230. When we installed this alternator, we noticed that the groove on the pulley was too narrow and small, and Steve even called it. He's like, this thing's gonna throw belts. Yeah, belt's gone. Oh, the pulley's falling off, dude. Look at the belt.
Oh no.
The water pump pulley is falling off the engine. The bolts got loose, and it wobbled and cracked, and it's a disaster. So we're gonna be doing some roadside fabrication. First time breakage, right here at the Arizona line.
Brought to you by Roadkill.
I just removed 2 bolts. There we go. And boom, see that? That's what just happened. We can get these in, and then these 2 if we get some really big washers that we might have to steal off some other part of the car. Here's our problem. This part broke out of this pulley right here. What was amazing is that there was a Roadkill fan who stopped. He was a truck driver. He came up with this stuff for washers, which is better than what we had, so that I can then put it back together and put this washer in here to sort of bridge the gap and try and clamp that down, and hopefully it'll survive. That's actually not bad. I've got that thing bolted on there, but it's still got some warble to it. Make sure it's in neutral, or run me over and put me out of my misery.
Can I get in front of the car and you run me over instead?
Oh, that'll live. Pretend you hear nothing. All right, let's go.
You think that's a coincidence that broke and the alternator?
I think the alternator broke something inside, and I think the shock of that broke the pulley.
That was a pretty good fix, Freiberger.
Thanks. I couldn't have done it without our trucker buddy.
I know. I got really overheated at the side of the road.
It's 30 degrees cooler in Flagstaff. Let's hope we make it.
Come on, Roadrunner. Take us to Flagstaff. Thanks.
Woo! Next stop, Flagstaff! Woohoo! And here we are in Ash Fork, Arizona, where it is significantly cooler. We're gonna try and solve the oil burning problem by pouring in some piston rings. Steve will show you that.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna cross our fingers that maybe it gets more cylinders lighting, and eventually I'd like to put an MSD box on it. Maybe it'll fire through dirty plugs. And then we're gonna wire up the headlights so we can continue on to Flagstaff as promised.
Our 383 Mopar engine burns oil, so I'm just gonna get the engine rebuild in a bottle. Keeps old engines alive, keeps engines like new. Minimal effort on my part, I might add, so that makes me super happy. All the headlight wiring's already in there.
Oh.
This wiring turned out to be super simple, and we should have all of the lights working. All right, the battery's connected. Mr. Freiberger,
Let there be light.
let there be light. Yo! That worked, we don't even have the ground tight.
Oh, this is the wrong kind of terminal.
Did I give you the wrong kind of terminal?
Yeah, we need the one that goes in here.
We've got the left, but not the right.
Okay, it looks like we need a jumper. How about actually now?
That's actually it right there.
Yeah?
All right, let's get out of here.
Good morning from the Gala resort town of Flagstaff, Arizona, where they have no idea how to do a front end alignment.
For the alignment guys out there, the term wheel alignment has three components: caster, camber, and toe. It's not just setting the toe.
That's one problem we have not revealed to you about this car, is that it is a two-hander on the highway because it wants to dart. But the other thing that went wrong is that now the engine will almost not run at all. Next up, spark plugs. Nowhere near as bad as I thought that it would. That's actually dry, not oily. Let's see what the others look like. That's ugly. Look how it's clean around the edges, and then it's all baked on oil on the porcelain and stuff. That means it's misfiring and the raw fuel is washing it off. What I want to do is just throw new plugs in it. I would love to find an MSD ignition to put on it, because the other thing that could be happening is if our ignition box is bad, then maybe it's causing some sort of misfire timing problem. I'm gonna put new plugs in now.
What I'm gonna do now is set the idle mixture on the carburetor, get a little bit more idle speed. I'm gonna try riching it up a little bit more at all four corners. By opening it up, I'm gonna see if the idle picks up and smooths out. What's the idle RPM there, David?
900.
So I've set the idle speed at 900 RPM, which for a stick shift car is fine, especially with a little bit of cam and headers and all that. It's a lot better with the new plugs, but we're a little suspect on the ignition box that's controlling the ignition system right now, so it's a super simple swap out. I'm gonna pull that out. I've got a new box here from the auto parts store, and we'll see if that improves it any. I'm not sure if it will, but there's a good chance it might. Okay, Freiberger, you want to try it out?
You want to drive?
Yeah, I'll drive.
All right, here we go. Monument Valley, land of the Roadrunner. Beep, beep.
I think it's pretty good.
It might be fixed.
I don't want to rev it out because that water pump molding might disintegrate.
Dude, this is running perfectly. Man, this is gonna be a great day. We're in Kayenta, Arizona, and we got some wrenching to do. What we're gonna do this morning is a front end alignment because this thing is virtually hazardous to drive.
I can fix that.
Oh, you know what? While you're fixing that, I'm gonna hook up our Roadrunner horn.
So I aligned the front suspension and you put a wire to the horn?
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
To clarify caster and camber, which is what he's gonna adjust here. Caster is, if you're looking at the side of the car, like this is the wheel on the side of the car, it's the tilt fore and aft of the spindle. And the more aft it is, the more stable it is in a straight line. Camber, if you're looking at the front of the car like this, is the tilt of the top of the tire in and out. And our problem is that we've actually got the camber like this, which is why the inside of the tires are scrubbing the ground and balding themselves.
Right now it's got some negative to it.
Thing's gonna handle like an Indy car when we're done.
What we're doing here is I lowered the car because we're gonna check the camber. We've done kind of a rough alignment setting, but I've got to fine tune. What we have to do is roll it forward and back, and that'll settle the suspension. I'll take a measurement. Within a couple of tries of trial and error, we'll have it right on the money. How's that, Freiberger?
Yeah, it's mint.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Okay, now we're gonna do toe, which is the tires in or out like this. We want about,
1/8 Freiberger.
you like an 1/8?
Well, with the worn out suspension.
62 and 7/16. Now we're gonna do the same at the back of the tire.
62 1/4, and it was 62 and 7/16.
Right.
So that's 3/16 towed out.
Correct. We had it out 3/16 of an inch. We want it in 1/8 of an inch. And so what Steve's doing is loosening up the tie rod end. And you know that adjuster that you can turn? He's using it to lengthen this side to tip the wheels in. And hopefully straighten the steering wheel while we're there. He fixed the alignment. I fried the Roadrunner horn, so we're gonna have to add it in post. Probably throughout the whole episode because it'll be hilarious.
Meep, meep.
Meep, meep. So we're gonna test drive the alignment with confidence on our way to Monument Valley.
Let's go.
Boom!
We don't even need a horn. We can just do our own meep, meeps.
Meep, meep. Here we go. Fingers crossed. That looks like you're fighting it.
I don't know. Seems better to me. Drives like a Cadillac. Meep, meep.
When you're on a highway and Roadrunner goes beep, beep, you better step aside or you might wind up in a heap. Roadrunner, running down the road all day. Nice work, Dolchek.
Yeah. Look, I can just drive it one-handed, elbow on the windowsill.
Oh, that's way better. Everything I'd hoped for and more.
The Roadrunner's great, or the Wreck Runner is not such a wreck anymore, Freiberger.
And we made it to Monument Valley here in Utah,
Oh, yeah.
the home of the Roadrunner.
That's right.
I just want to enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here, man. It's cool.
Time for a Freiberger history lesson and what makes this so special. So when I was a little kid, by far my favorite cartoon was Warner Brothers' Roadrunner and Coyote. And of course, it was set in the southwestern desert, but specifically with the background that you see here in Monument Valley in Arizona and Utah, right on the border. Roadrunner came out in 1949, and it was created by a guy named Michael Maltese, but really crafted and shaped and made fantastic by the legendary director Chuck Jones. And the very first Roadrunner cartoon in 1949 was called Fast and Furious. Yes, very much like the car movie series of today. In 1968, Plymouth came to Warner Brothers and they said, here's the deal. We're making a car named Roadrunner whether you like it or not. So if you want your little cartoon bird on the side and the fame that comes with that, let's strike a deal. And they did. So this has been a great trip, and it all ties together with our 1968 Wreck Runner right here in Monument Valley. You ready to behold more of the glory?
Let's go, man. Hit the road.
Can you picture a better scenario than what we're doing right now?
No!
Me neither.
Yeah, this car makes it great.
Check out that balance rock.
Wow.
That's Mexican hat.
How is that thing even supported?
I know, it's rad. Pull up. Let's check it out.
Sounds good.
Oh, I forgot. More violent off-roading. Obviously, it was a complete beaut, and it got eroded by wind, and the hard part stayed. And look at that balance. Look how it's offset off the center.
How can it even exist?
I don't know. It's cool.
Really wouldn't want to fall off that edge, though.
No, you really don't.
It's a long way to Albuquerque down that way.
Just when you thought Monument Valley was all of the win that we could have in this episode, we've got more. Welcome to a big vacant lot in the woods nearby Durango, Colorado, the city named for Steve's favorite SUV. So because we've got the Wreck Runner now whittled down to ultimate reliability, like new car levels of reliability, we decided to screw it up by modifying the thing. We're gonna make it faster. We were able to ship in some Edelbrock East Street heads that we're gonna put on the car right here in this dirt field. And we realized we were going by Amarillo Dragway, and those guys were cool enough to open up for us on Friday. So now our new goal is make this thing faster than the 1350s that it ran in Bakersfield at a 3,500 foot elevation to Amarillo. Ready, Steve?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's time this. It is noon, straight up, give or take a minute. So I'm gonna say 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we're gonna have this running and driving. What do you think, Steve?
About this time tomorrow?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess he's watched Roadkill before. I'm spraying so the dirt doesn't drop down in the intake ports when we lift the manifold. Wow, easiest ever. Is that our intake leak? Dude, this could be our oiling problem. Oh, that thing's like new.
Yeah. Engine's like new, too.
It's actually not bad. Next up, valve covers off. Oh, what?
Mechanically adjustable rocker
No
arms.
way.
Yeah.
This isn't a solid cam, is it?
I don't know.
No. Rocker arms are adjustable. The stock ones on this engine are not. And so that's an upgrade. And typically that would be with a solid camshaft, a mechanical cam, and this one, we think, has a hydraulic in it.
Well, Trevor, there is no lash in any of these, so.
Okay. Huh, spark plugs better than ever. Look at that. This thing's healing itself, which is why we took it apart. Oh, don't tell me the distributor's gonna have to come out. No, there we go. Ah, okay. There is a ton of crud baked onto the top of the pistons here. And if you look at them, especially on number 8, which is the worst, it seems like all of the crud is centered around the valve notches. I'm hoping that that means that our oil fouling problem is oil that's coming down from the cylinder head, like through the valve guides, and not up through the rings. Another clue to that is the fact this engine has very little bore taper, as judged by the fact that there's almost no ring ridge at the very top of the cylinder. And so we're hoping that we can install these new cylinder heads and also solve the oil fouling problem at the same time. Now we're at the point of being able to put the cylinder heads on, but unfortunately the Edelbrock heads have angled spark plugs where they're straight on the stock heads, and we know that one of the tubes over here will not clear the angle plug head. So we got to pull the header out from underneath it and then let the bashing begin. We're gonna mock up this header onto the head. I wanted to see how bad the header bolt situation is. Wow, that's not touching. That's far better than I thought it was gonna be. Well, you can see how tight this is in here, but I think we're gonna get away with it, maybe with a little bit modification. There we go. Wilderness bashing success. The header and the socket fits now, so we have to slip the header back up into the car, and then we're ready to put the cylinder heads on.
I'll go shove this into position. Everything here is spotlessly clean. I'm gonna lay the head gaskets in place, and then it's time to bolt on the heads.
Here are the cylinder heads that we're going to install. Edelbrock E-Streets, which is like their bottom end line of heads. They don't have quite the finished work of some of their higher end stuff. They're gonna have a little bit more flow than those 906s. They got bigger valves in them, but here's the big deal. The chamber size is 75 cc's, and the stock 906 iron heads that we took off are gonna be right around 92 cc's. And so we're gonna get a big jump in compression ratio. These are gonna be a good benefit. Obviously, they're gonna be lighter. The other thing about the E-Street is they're designed to bolt right in with all of the stock stuff. So let's hope it works. This is a Dulcich tip. So all of these push rods right here need to be lined up for me to drop on the entire rocker shaft assembly. And when Dulcich tells you to grab your dipstick, you go right to it. So watch this. I am going to slide it on top of the rocker stand little pedestals here, and I am going to install each individual push rod on top of it.
So what happens is the dipstick will corral all of your push rods.
This feels like progress. Nice. When the valve covers go on, you know you're near done. Really close. 7:45. To be completely honest, I would say that we spent at least 2 hours and 45 minutes ordering parts, answering email, lounging. So that's a Roadkill 5 o'clock, and we are just about to fire this thing up.
All right, here we go. Ignition on, and boom. That's a win, Freiberger.
That's total win.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for the evening. Now look away, because the partying begins. All right, Steve. On this rock, I have scrawled my estimates of our before and after horsepower with our Edelbrock head mod. What is your estimate of what we were making with the iron heads?
Engine dyno horsepower, probably about 310.
310.
310.
Okay. And how about now?
4 1/4. 355 and 400.
Yeah.
You might be closer on the 355 because it did run at 1354 at Bakersfield.
Yeah.
400, well,
Think it's a little better?
4 1/4 all
Well,
day
let's
long.
find out. Here we go.
It runs about the same, doesn't it? How come our vibration went away? It would vibrate. You'd have to hit at least 2,900 to get out of vibration. How come we don't have vibration?
You're kidding. Is it because of load or something? How about on this downhill? Lift a little? How's that possible? I don't get that. We had a bad vibration between 2,500 and 3,000. We thought it was the drive shaft, but Our new cylinder has fixed it.
That's impossible,
That's
driver.
impossible. Man, this thing runs mint.
Yeah. It's never run better on this trip.
It has not. We have crested 1,000 miles in the Wreck Runner.
No way.
Yes, we have. We're currently in New Mexico, and the state bird of New Mexico is
The Road Runner.
boom.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful day in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, where we slept among the scorpions last night.
And there were a lot of them.
There was a lot of scorps.
Yeah.
So we arrived here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico last night. The engine is running like garbage once again. I suspect the plugs are fouled. We're gonna pull out the plugs, and then we actually have some new parts. The UPS store got an overnight delivery for us of brand new MSD components. So even if we're still oil fouling the plugs, I'm hoping to blast through it with MSD ignition power.
I think it will.
Yeah.
It's like a keg of dynamite.
I'm dying to pull that number 8 spark plug and see how oil fouled it is or isn't. This is gonna be the moment of truth. And that's not as oily as it used to be by a long shot, but it is fouled. If they all look like this, then obviously this thing needs piston rings. We're gonna bypass all of that and go directly to trying to fire through a fouled plug with an MSD ignition.
I think it'll work. Can you go to the store and get me half a quart of chocolate milk? That would be the same.
You're giving me a gallon of annoyance right now. And distributor out. The great part about the Mopar is how simple this is. See how it just has a tang on it, not a gear? That means all we had to remember is which direction the rotor was pointing in order to get the new one in the right place. First thing, brand new MSD Pro Billet distributor. All right, Dulcich, you want to eyeball the timing? What he's doing right now is sort of just initially setting the timing by looking at where the tooth is on the reluctor inside the distributor and the magnetic pickup and lining them up and sort of eyeballing where it should be in relation to where we've got the number 1 cylinder on the damper. It's sort of an estimate. It'll get it started and then we'll set the timing after that. Now, the Blaster 2 coil. It's actually an MSD Blaster 2. I don't know what makes it better than the Blaster 1. But it's called Blaster, so it's good. Steve's taking the plugs out, and I have to admit, they are actually worse than we've ever seen on this trip. Defeat. Our piston rings in this engine are junk. We're gonna attempt to burn through all of that oil with a gnarlier ignition system right here. MSD means multiple spark discharge. Below 3,000 RPM, it actually strikes the spark plug multiple times. All of the energy is stored up in a capacitor inside that box, and then when the distributor triggers it, it goes bam, and it releases it into the coil all of a sudden and gets you more spark energy. MSD installed. It's butchered, but it's installed. Last thing here's gonna be spark plug wires. I'm not gonna make them to my normal neatness. We're just gonna jam them together.
Ignition on and...
Needs advancing.
Oh,
This distributor rotates counterclockwise.
yeah, so you...
So I advanced it by going clockwise.
Okay, firing up.
Fire. That's good. 17. Ready for it once again to run better than it ever has?
Oh, yeah. It's faster.
It falls over right after 5,500 RPM.
It does?
Yeah. That was 6. We gotta strap the motor down.
Yeah.
So I guess my review at this point is the vibration's still there.
Not as bad.
I think the motor mount's broken,
Busted.
and I think it's faster than it was.
Yeah.
We made it all the way to Amarillo Dragway in Amarillo, Texas. This is the scene of the 1971 to 1973 NHRA finals. But more importantly,
what?
It's the episode where Finnegan and I drove that worthless 76 Dart here and blew it up on nitrous. That is all my! Go, girl, go!
That's not good.
That was terrible.
That was the 100th episode. All of the head gaskets were blown out of it.
I was super sorry for that 318.
Don't do the same thing to the 383 today.
Oh, no, that's impossible. I can assure you I'm going to leave it in one piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the transmission? Because that's my big concern.
Well, if I blow that up, it'll make you super happy.
Right? We'll get a
You
new
hate
one.
the transmission.
This thing has got wasted synchros. I cannot power shift the thing into second, so I'm counting on the power of the Dulcich to just BAM!
I'm going to prove that with that 833 Chrysler transmission.
Yeah?
Running down the track, power shifting second gear.
In order for you to do that, I think I have to actually attach the engine to the car.
Oh,
so
motor
let's
mount
do the
bolt?
motor mount bolt, and then we need 8 cylinders, so we'll do spark plugs, and finally we'll slam slicks on it.
Okay, get it running.
And we did get it running. First, installing a bolt that had fallen out of the driver's side motor mount completely.
Now that the engine's actually bolted in, spark plugs.
And then we discovered that the spark plugs were as bad as ever, if not worse.
There was actual debris on
Exactly, there's metal on it.
Yeah.
And finally, we ignored that, slapped on some slicks, and hit the track. At this point, our low expectations were met in roadkill style. Because the car was not only just slow, but it also broke. First, the shifter and the synchronizers in the transmission gave us the same trouble that they had all along. There would be no bang shifting on this day. And then, the clutch linkage fell apart.
He missed second.
Lost the clutch linkage.
Dulcich fixed that, and the car did finally run in the high 14s in the terrible weather, but then the clutch failed altogether.
Oh, that was the clutch going away.
That was the clutch.
Yeah, and it's puking on the track now.
But you know what? Our spirit was not broken. We had survived 1,300 plus miles in the Wreck Runner, a car assembled out of 2 complete piles of Mopar garbage, and we had a great time doing it. Kicking it off with just amazing action in the desert, doing some burnouts along the way, seeing the awesome, awesome scenery in Monument Valley, and finally making it within 6 hours of our true final destination, which was going to be another drag strip in Texas, where we're meeting up with Mike Finnegan for another drag racing shootout with a different car. And you will see that in an upcoming episode of Roadkill.
Master, transmission refuses to shift. Okay, I get in car, go down quarter mile. Freiburger, he can't shift transmission. It's a real drag because, you know, the synchro mesh has to engage the gear. Freiburger can't handle it. He walked out of the ring. Yes, Dulcich, to jump in, bang shift his car, take it down a quarter mile, and show him how it's done. Right now, it's go time.